Good afternoon. My name is Larry Seabrack. I'm the president of the Art Alliance for Contemporary Glass, the AACG. Welcome to our weekly meetup today, October 29th, 2021. We meet every Friday at 1 p.m. and the program is usually for members only. However, today's meetup is open to the public because of the special program honoring a special artist and friend. 20 years ago, in 2001, the AACG began a program recognizing individuals of outstanding accomplishment in the field of contemporary art, working in the medium of glass. Honorees may be artists, collectors, curators, critics, teachers, authors, gallery owners, and others whose contributions have been significant in our field of contemporary art. Recipients are usually honored by receiving a certificate at the annual AACG event at SOFA Chicago. Obviously, this year, that event through Intersect Design Chicago has been canceled because of the pandemic. Today, however, we are reaching out to an even larger audience by way of Zoom and YouTube. Through the efforts of our awards committee, chaired by Rick Heath, the AACG 2021 honoree is Tim Tate. Normally, there would be a thunderous applause if we were in person, so I can hear it though. Personally, and in my official AACG capacity, it gives me great pleasure to recognize Tim as our 2021 honoree. Tim has had a long career as a uniquely creative, innovative contemporary artist working with glass and mixed media. His narratives are profound, representing all aspects of humanity and social justice. He is internationally recognized as a thought leader and has brought 21st century contemporary glass to the forefront through social media. Tim has made unique and important contributions to the AACG programming, especially since starting these weekly meetups. He is always available and generously gives of his time to many organizations, as you will hear in this special tribute. For me and many others in the AACG, Tim is a personal friend. So let's get on with this very special program, which was organized by our immediate past president, Marilee Orsini. And she will be the moderator of this event. The title of our program is Tête-à-Tate, AACG Honors a Force of Nature. Marilee will be moderating this event, which includes people very close to Tim. It includes Michael Janis, esteemed artist and co-director of the Washington Glass School and Studio in Washington, D.C. Also, William Warmus. Bill is a well-recognized curator who focuses on contemporary glass, an art critic and educator, and of course, we will hear from Tim himself. Marilee, take it away. Marilee, we can't hear you.
Well, can you hear me now?
Yes.
It's good. It's amazing what happens when you unmute yourself. Tim, congratulations. This is an honor, well-deserved honor. And we would like to start with a word from our honoree. Tim, would you like to take it away?
Well, first, I want to say I'm stealing your title, Tête-à-Tate, to Tête-à-Tate at the Tate. But I'll let you know when that comes up. I'm not quite finished negotiating yet, but I'll get there. As I come to you live from the Hermitage behind you, I put the nocturnes up just for the Weisses so they can see the Karen Lamonts in front of the doors there. All right, so I don't know what to do on these things because I don't have a lot of these things, but I'm just going to go and just do a couple thank yous. Mine will be brief, and we'll go from there. You know, I have felt invisible almost my whole life, and that is perhaps because I had hidden my life for so many years. And that hidden life made me the most comfortable in all of those in-between spaces. In other words, I wasn't fully studio glass. I wasn't fully fine art. I wasn't fully in the US. I wasn't fully in Europe. And, you know, I think it's because I hated being compared to others because I secretly never was sure I measured up. And so I lived in those. The more glass I made in odd ways, the more no one compared me to anyone. And so that was the space I lived in. Then I came in contact for the first time with AACG. And the first time was my gallery outside of Washington, D.C. It was a regular fine art gallery. I was having show after show. And this very handsome, elegant, older couple kept showing up at the openings. We started chatting. And that couple was Paul and Elmarina Parkman, one of the original founders of AACG and the James Renwick Alliance. So I just happened to have my show 15 minutes from their home. And now that's the kind of happy accident that makes careers, trust me. And of course, they became friends for many, many years. And they're up there now in New York near Bill Warmus up there. So hopefully he'll get a chance to see him and say hi for me. At one point, I'm hearing a little echo. I don't know what it is. Okay, at one point before most of the AACG members knew who I was, a member came. She brought all her friends to an art fair. I think it was SOFA. And she said, come here, listen, look at this glass artist I just discovered, which I really liked. I've been doing it for a couple of years, but what she didn't know was that at that exact moment, something else had occurred. At that exact moment, I discovered the AACG. And I realized that there was this group ready to support artists who were coming out in a lot of different ways. They weren't just looking at the past, they were looking everywhere. And I started really fostering a lot of friendships with AACG members. And that led me to a bus tour to collectors' houses at SOFA one year. And as I sat on that bus tour to collector homes with AACG, a very elegant man sat next to me and started to chat. I thought he was hitting on me, but no. Quickly, I realized that was Bill Warmus, because I knew everything he'd written up to that point, because I'd read everything. And that chance meeting has changed my life in so many ways. We started talking about what was happening in glass. We knew that it was morphing into something new in the 21st century, but we couldn't decide exactly what it was. And that was our talk on that bus that day. And here we are all these years later. That's what began the glass secessionism page. And that is what, which is now called 21st Century Glass. And Bill and I have spoken several times a week for over a decade now. My own family would hang up if I called that bus. So that shift, as we did that shift towards the future changed me and my work in a lot of ways. I wasn't focusing now on the past of what came before me and what that foundation was. I was really focusing on what was happening in the future. And when you focus on the future, you don't have to worry necessarily about how you compare to anybody in the past. Nor actually do I at all anymore, but I guess. One of the people that was very larger than life than I was the very brilliant Adriano Berengo, who was totally sympathetic towards the principles of glass secessionism as he had begun glass stress right at that same time, just before. And that show had grown to probably one of the most respected glass shows on earth. That's what you see behind me at the Hermitage there right now. And it features some of the best known artists of today worldwide and gave them access to glass and created some of the finest artworks in glass ever produced. I was lucky enough to be included in several of those shows, including in Venice 2019 during the Biennale. Several of us, one here at the Hermitage, and then Michael Janis and I actually be doing a collaboration piece for Glass Stress during the Venice Biennale in 2022. And we do hope you're thinking of going to the opening, because I'll get you the good tickets to get into that show. So there you go. So that's a humbling experience. To be at a place like the Hermitage or any of these things is very humbling, but it was a lovely thing. My magnificent gallery, I was first person brought on board by Corey Hampson after he took over the reins from his dad, much to Ferd's bewilderment at the time. However, although Ferd has since become a big fan, but at that time he looked at Corey like, what are you thinking? But that's all right. Corey and Aaron have been so supportive in the way all artists hope from their gallery. Always pushing me further along whatever path I believed in, not what they believed in. So never editing, never controlling, 100% behind any weird, odd direction I wanted to take. They would back. They said, go for it. If I want to put stinky fish on top of something, they said, put more stinky fish on there. this is what you always hope for from your gallery. It wasn't like, oh, we only sell your blue ones, just make the blue ones. It was nothing at all. It was, oh my God, anything you want to do. So that was wonderful and helpful as an artist. I countless hours of discussion with Aaron as we try to sculpt the future. I'm sure he's sick to death of hearing from me as well. Over the years, all of us have become really great friends, even though Corey has gotten my husband addicted to Bachelorette, which I'm only now beginning to forgive him for. But it is you got to do what you got to do. But it seems like our lives are going to be intertwined for some time to come. So I guess we all have to get used to each other. I also want to mention Momentum Gallery in Asheville, whose directors, both of them, Jordan and Schiffer, I have known for many, many years and have loved watching them grow into a major player in the art world. I'm so glad to be part of their family as well. If you get a chance to Asheville, it's a spectacular gallery. If that gallery were in New York or Hong Kong or London, it would do just as great. It's a spectacular gallery there. There are so many collectors, and I have to apologize now if I'm forgetting anyone, and I'm sure I will, but please, God, forgive me. I'm not going to just name all the collectors, just a few little instances here. 20 years ago, I first met Fred and Sue Sanders when they brought their New York group down to DC in a bus tour, way before they should have. Honestly, the piece they got from me then was Green Devil in a sewage pipe with a fork. That was the piece that's still on their side table at home. If you've noticed it, there's no reason they should have noticed me at all, but I was really happy about it. We've stayed friends, and they're like family to me now. I bother them way too much. But there are other ones, the Shomers, Sharon Carmazon, the Seabricks, Mary City, the Weisses. All these people have come at pivotal points in my career. And I think a lot of times collectors don't necessarily know they're at that pivotal point, that at that moment, because that piece was purchased or that piece was supported, it kind of makes the artist know that that direction is really good. And all of those people have done that in some kind of way. Of course, Ben and Giselle, who I love with all my heart and always will every second. And they've witnessed, they were there again when people should not have been. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but I mean, I didn't have the proficiency I have now, and they were there to support that people. And there's not a lot of people who look at the people around them and say, let's support them even as they're growing. But everyone I just mentioned did, and certainly all of them are that way. I think one thing that all those people have in common, that I have witnessed all of them doing wonderful acts of kindness in secret. All of them have done things for other artists and groups and organizations that they quietly support and do. And all of them have done these wonderful private acts of unbelievable kindness. So maybe that's one of the things those people have in common. And I admire them all for it. Also, I have to go to the school. Thank Michael Janis here and Erwin Timmers and the whole staff at the Washington Glass Studio. They're probably in the other room listening. And Christina, who is my new assistant and also the studio coordinator here. This whole journey here at the school, we started over 20 years ago. And with a dream of starting a non-studio glass school to see what that experiment would do for us. And we like where it led us. Erwin, who has become so amazingly adept at juggling and managing our constant overlapping public art commissions. And Michael, I cannot say enough good things about Michael Janis. If I say them, I'm not going to say this once because his head gets so swelled, it's horrifying. But, he has been my sounding board, my confidant, my friend all these years. Wherever I went, Michael went, and we have pretty much stuck that way. I think we are, if he knew it then, he might have stopped it, but he stuck with me forever. And I think people are always going to have those two names probably tied together for the rest of our careers. Who knows? And now, of course, we're even collaborating on the newest works. All those years we did not collaborate, and finally to come together to do the new Wall series is such a gift because we've known each other and loved each other so long. So I have to thank my amazing husband, Donovan, who is there. If he can wave, hi, Donovan. He's been the person who's changed my life every day for almost 9 years now. And that anchor and that emotional support has meant everything to me. As Michael said to me last week, I think you've gotten a lot nicer since Donovan came. I thought, oh, well, there we go. I certainly got a lot calmer. And there's been a lot of things going on over those 9 years, and I'm really happy that here we are sitting now, stronger than ever. So I love you, Donna. So I started off telling you all how invisible I felt until today. And here I am, visible for all of you to see, embracing exactly who I was meant to be, and I would never have gotten here without your support. And thank you to everyone here who made that happen. Thank you all.
And thank you, Tim. Thank you so much for everything that you have added to the art scene. And Michael Janis, I'd like to turn it over to you now to see another side of Tim Tate.
Oh, no.
Okay, let me share the screen and okay, make it full size. And now we're going to get the real story. It's a nice thing that Tim was saying, but let's see behind the scenes. We're honoring Tim Tate, the glass sculptor extraordinaire. Tim's glass sculpture has been featured in many museums, including the Smithsonian, American University Museum that featured his mixed media and videos, as well as his glass artwork. And his work has been shown from coast to coast, from places like the Museum of Art and Design in New York, to going out west to the Mesa Contemporary Art Museum, where he was headlining there, and places in between, like Fort Wayne Museum of Art, to the latest at the Hermitage in St. Petersburg at Glass Stress. And he's rubbing shoulders with artists like Ai Weiwei and Fred Wilson. And the most recent acquisition is the works that the Tacoma Museum of Glass have just announced. They contacted me and I talked with them yesterday about how they've just gotten a Tim Tate. They did? Yes.
I did not know that.
Well, I thought I was going to hold that until today.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good. Thank you, Tacoma Museum of Glass, if you're here.
Tim Tate wants to be seen as a serious artist. But are there other sides to this Tim Tate story? Ones that he might not want you to know? We've been being manipulated with alternate facts and sleight of hand from a master? Are there other aspects that might be unsavory about his background?
That is not true.
Everyone knows he's a Fulbright scholar, and that many institutions like the Renwick Alliance here in DC and the Imagine Museum have honored him for his work and his drive to move the arts forward. And how he started in the 1980s from humble beginnings, but quickly got the attention of the press for his narrative sculptures. And the attention from the press and critics kept on going. The little coverage in art by the press focused heavily on Tim. And soon any show that Tim was in would be guaranteed coverage with color and stories that they just began, the Washington Post began using Tim as their go-to person to say, what is the state of craft? Where is the art going? Where are we going? So he was their constant consultant in terms of the arts. And Tim loved the attention. He wanted camera crews following him around like a Kardashian camera crew. Had Tim sold his soul for fame? Tim's life story was breathlessly covered in American Craft, but he really wants to be the cover boy for the magazine. Tim is an erudite aesthete, the ultimate glass connoisseur, advising and consulting with the heads of arts organization and agencies to say, this is where art should be, and this is where we need to take it. He likes working in academia. I mean, here's Tim working at the University of Sunderland at their National Glass Center. And he lectures on glass constantly at Catholic University, even at the glass school, where he takes underserved students and shows them how to create a living as being an artist. He teaches or lectures at places like Yale with Roberto Lugo, talking about 21st century street sensibility in the arts. He is an educator, but are there things going on behind the scenes that we're unaware of? Perhaps teaching is not enough to fill his passion. Everyone knows lovable Tim exposing his art for all. Tim Tate loves kittens. Tim Tate loves babies. He's a solid family man. But when he's away at shows like Art Basel in Miami, it seems the glitz and glamour of the art scene is too much. And what happens in Miami doesn't always stay in Miami. Groupies flock to him. They all love rubbing up on him. Everyone wants to give Tim Tate a lap dance. Even Laura Donifer wants to snuggle him up and give Tim some love. I mean, I find it shocking what goes on, and I have to shut my eyes what happens at the glass studio. I mean, so many things are happening here that it just shocks almost everyone who comes by. Celebrated artists, distinguished leaders in their field, and like Judith Schachter, when she comes to Washington, she loses all sense of decorum. She can't resist getting a taste of Tate. It's disturbing. I mean, what can cause these otherwise sensible people to lose control, to just give into impulses and outrageous behavior? The answer is, I think it's Tim. I think Tim Tate is the devil. It's proof. I mean, the photos don't lie. Even artists like Janice Miltenberger are drawn to this bad boy. And in case all of these scenes are not enough to scare you in time for Halloween, I have one more image to be burned into your retinas. And once you see Tim and the former president, you can't unsee this. It's truly, truly shocking and disturbing. Well, thank you, Tim, and thank you to the AACG. This is the state of the art, as sorry as it is.
Thank you, Michael Janis. So,
Oh, that was funny.
next, we're going to have that handsome man, that very distinguished and handsome man that Tim met on the bus in Chicago those many years ago. And that is a person who really needs no introduction, Bill Warmus.
Well, thank you, Marilini. The first thing I have to ask Tim is, Tim, am I speaking loud enough?
You are.
Oh, at last. Thank you. Okay, I can go ahead then. Tim, you know I love your work, and it's hard for me to distinguish the personal love of your work from my professional appreciation of your work. But I really tried to do that when I wrote the article for American Craft magazine. And I'm not going to go into detail about it, but one example is that you work in series. And Tim, you know that I have trouble with artists who don't try different series during their career. You go through a series, and a series is not about infinite fine tuning. And you're not about infinite fine tuning. You see the whole world out before you and you want to move on. You say, this series is good enough. It's perfect. I have to move on to the next one. And I really love that about your work. And I wish we could encourage more artists to be a little less shy, a little less safe, a little less conservative, and just once in a while, try something completely opposite from what they're doing. And I've learned that from you and to appreciate it very much. So I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Tim and I talk regularly. He mentioned that. And one of the things you may not know, but I think you do from Michael Janis's presentation, is that Tim is an art world intellectual, however much he tries to hide that fact in public. And we talk mostly about ideas. Sure, we gossip a little bit on the phone. I can't tell you what that's about. You'd like to know, I'm sure, but you can't know. But we talk about ideas. When I was hammering out my theory of reticulate aesthetics, Tim was an essential sounding board for that. And I really appreciate that. We went over this.
And because of that, I'm the only one here that, besides him, that understands it.
Well, that's your bad luck. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope everyone didn't understand it. In preparing for this, Tim and I talked about 3 crazy ideas we had. And the last one, Tim said, let's focus on that and talk to the audience about it. The first one was glass secessionism. We decided we would just secede from the studio glass world and see where it took us. And it got us in a lot of trouble, frankly. But finally, I think the bigger picture that 21st century glass is dominant became evident. The second idea was that a dealer mentioned to me once, oh, there's no glass at Art Basel. The Art Basel dealers in Miami hate showing glass. So Tim and I said, let's go through Art Basel and Art Miami and see if there's any glass. So the first time we went through, practically the first piece we saw was a huge piece of glass 3 feet on a side by Ai Weiwei. And then we saw a giant piece by Ronnie Horn, and it went on and on. And it turned out there were literally hundreds of pieces of glass by established artists and unknown artists to us throughout the entire Art Basel experience. And we kept documenting that. And that's something that Tim and I did together, and I appreciate so very much. And
I
then
want to also say that is a labor of love. Our best time every year, to us, it's a vacation. And we go down and we turn a corner and find unexpected glass. It is so much fun.
And we have friends who join us, like artists and Aaron Shea and others. And you're always welcome to meet with us when we're at Art Basel in Miami. We like that very much. Our most recent crazy scheme is to do something special in the year 2025. Tim, do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
You know, as we were sitting there talking about what was going on in the 21st century, it was my belief that the first decade of the 21st century was a decade where most collectors paused. Everyone seems to want to pause at the end of a millennia like this. And so suddenly most of the shows were retroactive shows about the studio glass movement in the 80s and 90s mostly, although it also is the continuation of some of the great works by Chihuly and the master works that are coming out now. But there was a kind of a pause where the artists during that time were kind of laying a foundation for what would be 21st century glass. And now here we are. How do we show that? We're now going on 25 years in the 21st century. It's time we figured out what has become of glass in that last 25 years. We all know with our heart and our minds exactly what studio glass means. And most of us can quote almost every single piece we're shown. But the future is a little more difficult. So I'm going to share something, Bill. Is that a good time for that?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to share our screen here. Okay. Our premise, and then I'm going to turn this over to Bill a little bit, is that we cannot predict what the future is, but this group, the group sitting in this room right now, has the power to create that future. And we think we know a way. So, Bill, I am going to you.
Well, in our conversation, I thought about the great Paris exhibition of 1925. This is the one that gave its name to Art Deco. And the French decided in 25, they would have a look back at all the media in the decorative arts and in architecture and see where they were at in 1925. And it dawned on me that, yes, this would give us guidance. This historical precedent would give us guidance for recommending a series of exhibitions in the year 2025. Could we have the next image, Tim? For example, a museum could do a show comparing the glass of 1925 with the glass of 2025. Just one object, 2 objects to show. On the left, a famous polar bear vase from the 20s by Émile Gaulet. You see the polar bear is on an ice floe. On the right, an ice floe without the polar bear from April Sergent from right now. what a wonderful point that makes about the changes in our environment in the last 100 years. What a wonderful show you could do looking at those two periods and comparing and contrasting them.
And these are just two pieces. If you put your mind, you can have a whole show of this kind of compare and contrast.
Yeah. And so Tim and I are going to spend the next 5 minutes or so just giving some ideas about shows that we hope people will consider for that future, like the next slide, which are retrospective exhibitions of mid-career artists like Nancy Callan, Norwood Viviano, Tim Tate included, and Kate Rhodes. I really feel that there's an absence of important retrospectives, and this would be a great time to organize such shows.
And if you notice, these are all artists who came into prominence after the 21st century. And that's what makes it interesting in a way.
That's the main point, is that they came into prominence at that time.
Right.
Personally, I want to do a show of Olafur Eliasson. As Tim and I went through Art Basel year after year, we found that almost every year, Eliasson was showing glass, and spectacular glass. We are inclined to think he may be the most important artist using glass in the 21st century. Is he? Well, we need an exhibition to investigate that.
Interestingly, if you come from fine art and know nothing of our beautiful sheltered glass world, you believe that Olafur Eliasson is the best known glass artist in the world. And that may be true. They don't know the rest of it here. So that's an interesting point of which direction you come to this glass. He is seen as, in the same kind of way that we see a Chihuly or Billy Morris, huge for that world.
I have a personal love of architecture, and I think glass in architecture came into its own in this century. We really could use a show surveying architecture. This happens to be the Opera House in Beijing, by the way, a beautiful all glass structure, gigantic, but it looks like a size that is perfect, a perfect shape, perfect size for its location.
And by the way, the 21st Century Glass page and discussion group on Facebook, architecture is one of the topics that we discuss on how that's changed in the 21st century.
And I've been working in China, as some of you know. I think that the Chinese glass is coming into its own. We need a survey of glass in China. Many of the Chinese glass artists were trained in the United States and heavily influenced by American artists. So it's a good time, if we want to advance diplomatic relations between the two countries, it would be a good time to look at the influences of American glass on Chinese glass, but also the influences of Chinese culture as a whole on the way we think about glass in the United States.
Bill is already in discussions with several places in China. So this is already kind of beginning in our mission here.
Yeah, I've been talking to Jing Li, who is a professor at Tsinghua University, about how we could manage such an exhibition.
Oh, these are mine. Okay, so here's the last five. You could have a show of the American artists who show a glass dress. Trust me, to get in the glass dress is not easy, and there's even fewer Americans. But as you see with Fred Wilson's Black Mirror on the left and Karen Lamont's Nocturne on the right, certainly some of the most magnificent pieces of glass ever made are in that show. And it would be really wonderful to pull the American ones out and actually have that as a show somewhere, as a kind of a limited glass dress. Of course, a bigger glass dress show is always appreciated in 21st century, because glass dress was also born in the 21st century, even though it had roots. Yes.
Tim, it's also time to recognize just how important glass dress has been for the glass community, and a show could explore that as well.
It sure could. It sure could. I think glass dress has done more. I mean, we all look at Peggy Guggenheim and her bringing in Picasso to work with glass, et cetera, but that little seed really took complete fruition when Adriano Barango came onto the scene, who changed everything in glass with it. Also, we talk about, Bill and I for over a decade have trolled all of the art shows and fairs and museums, and we were constantly doing it. I mean, this is a constant thing. There are over 10,000 images on the 21st Glass page alone. If you're wondering what is glass in the 21st century, go there and take a look. But you could have shows that came out of those people, just the ones that are showing at the fairs, like Anne Veronica Jensen. She's not on this page, but this is Isabel Diabaldi, who I met at Pilchuck on the left. And then Andrea Galvani, whose work Bill and I absolutely will love until the day we die with his neon work. You have if you're a smaller museum, you don't have a lot of money, you can't bring in Olafur Eliasson or the Glass Dress Show, you can still have 5 contemporary regional artists near their museum that they take. So you could do a regional show with glass and you wouldn't have to have that huge expense, but you could also be part of this much larger international thing that's going on as we get closer to Glass 2025. We also have a show which features glass from all those countries that have shown a lot of promise in the last 25 years, like Argentina and South Africa. These are countries that never had glass, and suddenly watching what was happening in other countries, and they started coming to classes in the United States and Europe, have brought it back to their countries. And so they have burgeoning glass scenes there. It'd be really interesting to bring those here.
On our 21st Century Glass page, we have people from over 100 countries, almost half of the world's nations. And we're always discovering pockets of interest, like in New Zealand, for example, where there's a really active glass community, or Argentina. Those would be worth exploring.
You know, Bill, also, I was going to tell you yesterday, a glass artist from Yemen joined. So I think you're up to 101. I don't think we had Yemen.
We have one glass artist in Greenland who we're very proud of.
We should go through and put red tacks into a map and see where all these people live. And then my final possibility is all the winners of the Blown Away series, or all the, the top 10 of each of those, or however you want to do it. I'm here, they're basically curating this fabulous energy. If a museum brought them in for a show, you have a built-in audience to the people who watch that show. So here's a great and easy show that would definitely be part of the 21st century, because certainly Blown Away is part of that.
So if I could just say, we took this time to talk about the future because that's what Tim is about. And that's how our conversations go, is he's always thinking, what could we do next? What would expand our love of glass as a community? What would keep our community together into the 21st century as studio glass becomes historical and fades into history? And so I love that very much about you, Tim, and thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill Warmus, and thank you, Tim Tate. You've certainly thrown the gauntlet out for everyone. So I'm looking forward to 2025. Next on our agenda is Linda Green to have a drawing for the raffle. Tim Tate so graciously gave 3 pieces to the AACG so that we could actually have a raffle and make some money for the organization, because we do fund grants to have people look at glass art around the country. So Linda, do you want to do the drawings, please?
Yes, hi. I'm going to have Neil and sit down. He is an impartial observer.
Absolutely.
So our first one is the brooch. Go for it, Neil. Mix them up good.
All right, here we go.
My name better not be there.
Len Tenner is the winner of the brooch.
And it's going to look fabulous on him.
I have a feeling it's Bobby's going to get that. Okay. Next is the.
I have to unmute myself to say that it was Len's idea to do this.
I just can't believe he went. Okay.
Look good on you, Bobby.
Yeah. So Olive Dog. Mix those up.
Here we go. All right, got one.
Sharon Carmazin. Okay. Has one Olive Dog.
All right.
Okay.
Congratulations, Sharon Carmazin.
Good for Sharon.
And the most popular of the items the red-orange dog.
All right.
Mix them up really
Red
good.
orange dog. Here we
That's a
go.
good dog.
So
That was
is
a good dog. I admit that. That was a good
A
dog.
lot of it. There's a lot of it in here. Okay, here we go. Scrolling through, scrolling through. So we get one. Now I think I have just one there.
Okay. Judith Hartsong won Red Dog.
Oh, thank God
She's
for
gonna
her.
be thrilled.
She bought so many
Okay.
tickets. God bless her.
Thank you,
Sure.
Neil.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you for your generous donation, and thank you to
Pleasure.
those people who bought tickets. So I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm going to show a statement from Adriana Barango, who did not send a video, but he sent a great statement. And in addition to the statement, because he is so appreciative of Tim's artwork, and a funny story here, this who do I have to pay to get me out from under the stairs was something that Tim had asked to the Barango staff, and no one knew what he meant, but they realized he was under the stairs. So to show that they got him out from under the stairs, there is a photo that Adriana sent. This is from the Hermitage, and that's a spectator actually taking a picture of Tim's piece that is hanging in the Hermitage. Oops. And the next thing that we have to show is a video. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I am going to show a video that some of our people who have been involved with Tim Tate over the years so graciously sent in some great commemorative pieces.
Hey everyone, Aaron Shea here at Habitat Galleries. I wanted to thank Tim Tate for many things. One, for being an amazing part of our Habitat family. I'm standing in front of his Justinian Oculus he sent here that was in his glass dress exhibition, and it's an incredible piece, and he's an incredible guy. He has helped us envision the future for this gallery, put his ideas forth, and it's amazing to have him in our Habitat family. So thank you again, Tim, for being part of our world and everything that you do. You are the best, my friend.
I'm Charles Sheppard, the CEO of the Fort Wayne Museum of Art. I'm standing right now in front of a wonderful piece by Tim Tate, one of these pieces that he's done with infinity mirrors. And I'll tell you, every visitor to the museum finds their way over to this piece to try to figure out how this works. The appearance is that it's a hole behind the wall that goes right through the building. That's the illusion of the mirrors. But I love to watch people try to figure that out. Tim is one of the most exciting artists working today. I'm very proud to have him in our collection. This is the third piece of Tim's in our collection, and I'm always eager for another one.
I'm Fleur Bressler. I'm a collector and a longtime friend of Tim Tate's. What I'd like to say is congratulations, Tim, and my very best wishes. I'm not sure, Tim, if you know how I came to discover Tim Tate. Tim, I found you through the Renwick long before we ever met. And my first encounter with Tim was a piece that came into the Renwick collection, and it was a large blown red heart. And it was a reliquary that Tim had made for his mother. After buying that, I don't remember, Tim, where you and I actually physically met. It could have been at something at the Renwick. It could have been collectors. It could have been the James Renwick Alliance, but we did meet. And we have had an in-person friendship since then. And when I enlarged my apartment, the very first thing that I commissioned were 2 pieces from Tim. And those 2 pieces, Tim knows and recognizes, and they are blown red hearts. One of them is to commemorate my son, and the other, my husband. And they are in the master bedroom in the addition to my apartment. And when I think of Tim, my thoughts always go back to those big red hearts.
Hello, we are Fred and Susan Sanders. We speak about Tim from the perspective of collectors who became good friends. We met Tim 20 years ago on an annual MCGG glass trip when the newly established Washington Glass School was operating out of a decommissioned school building. We were immediately taken by one of Tim's sculptures, an illuminated devil's head atop an incredibly heavy found metal object.
That was the first of Tim's 4 works that are currently in our collection, and Tim nearly had a heart attack bringing it to our home. We subsequently acquired several domed and video pieces, one of which is now in the permanent collection at MAD. While we don't own one of those gorgeous infinity wall sculptures, we do own this one-of-a-kind brooch that Tim so generously donated to the AACG jewelry auction at the last live sofa.
Something in our personalities, our shared aesthetic, and our mutual love of the medium and the glass community led us to a friendship that has deepened over the years. We've gone through many joyous and trying times together. Tim introduced us to Penland and to the James Renwick Alliance, and we introduced Tim to our friend Adriano Berengo, and we are thrilled to see what that introduction led to.
From our perspective, the most important thing about Tim is not the incredible talent, inventiveness, and creativity that has enabled him to produce an ever-evolving body of impressive artwork, but rather his kindness and generosity. Ask him to donate a work to an auction for an organization he believes in, and of course he will. Ask him to chair the committee, and he'll do that too.
Tim gives freely and lovingly of his time to so many organizations and friends, and yet finds time to highlight the accomplishments of his fellow artists on an almost daily basis on the 21st Century Glass website. In a fiercely competitive environment, he mentors emerging artists and champions the work of other glass artists with an unfailing generosity of spirit.
Not only is Tim a great artist, but he's also a great human being. He's a mensch. We treasure our friendship with him, and we're proud to speak about him today as he receives the accolades he so rightfully deserves.
Hi, we're Giga and Vancouver Man, coming to you from Sarasota, Florida. We have known and loved Tim Tate for many years, ever since he was a young artist showing at the Smithsonian Craft Show. It was an instant attraction to the man and to his art. We have been following Tim's progression in the glass world with admiration and tremendous pride and joy. His accomplishments in the realm of creativity and beauty are amazing. And Tim doesn't stop with what he succeeded before. He experiments with new venues, with new ideas, with new concepts, and he has succeeded magnificently in creating absolutely marvelous objects. Tim's public works have gained widespread acclaim, and his glass school is an example of diversity and inclusivity. Tim, Michael Janis, and Erwin Timmer are there to train and assist glass artists. But it is his personal achievement and his sweet and inclusive temperament that has drawn us to Tim as a much-loved friend. His battle with a medical issue has not made him retreat from life. On the contrary, he embraces it with charm, with humor, with grace, and with humility. And he has helped me personally in my own medical struggles. We love you, Tim.
We love you.
Hello, glass enthusiasts. My name is Jane Buckman, Executive Director of Imagine Museum in St. Petersburg, Florida. On behalf of myself, the museum, and our founder, Trish Duggan, we're delighted to be able to personally acknowledge Tim Tate and this fabulous honor that AACG is bestowing on him for his outstanding accomplishments in the field of contemporary glass art. The Tim Tate piece behind me is entitled My Cameo Secret Lover. The first time I went around the museum with Tim, we stopped in front of this piece. I expressed to Tim how sometimes the blinking eye freaked people out and they were almost afraid to look. Tim then explained to me when he was very ill, he would always think about his grandmother, whom he felt was watching over him. So when he made the piece, he thought of his grandmother, in a sense, keeping an eye on him, which is a very universal concept and one about love over fear. From then on, when seeing visitors react in a frightened way when looking at the blinking eye, I would tell them Tim's story, and then they would re-look at the piece with a new and loving concept and end up having this piece as one of their favorites in the museum. Tim has been a pioneer in shaking up the notions of studio glass and continues to do so to today. All movements need artists like Tim who challenge the traditions, the notions, and concepts accepted as truth and offer new ways of seeing and experiencing. From my point of view, Tim's love for the glass material and all other material he brings to his work invited and opened the door for many other contemporary artists to really discover the magic of glass and to find their own personal discoveries with the material as he has found. Well done, Tim. I think your path of discovering and opening doors has only yet begun. Big hugs and kisses to you.
Congratulations to Tim Tate, the man, the legend, the artist extraordinaire, for receiving the AACG Honors Award. My name is Jamie Ann Jacobin. I'm the director of the James Renwick Alliance for Craft, and on behalf of the entire organization, we are happy to share in this honor of our dear friend and board member, Tim Tate. His campaign for social issues and his work in the glass field weave together in a way that cannot be untangled. His origin story and his absolute global success are one in the same. Be it his early series of wall-mounted hearts, his reliquaries, public installations, video work, or his infinity mirrors, Tim advances our thoughts, ideas, the social constructs, and traditional understanding of glass. Often, he is the first forward. Tim, thank you. Thank you for being bold enough to take the first step. We take shelter behind you until we are brave enough to walk with you.
My friend Tim Tate. Tim is the proverbial spider in the glass web. He constructs, he builds, he gathers, he connects. That is Tim Tate. He's a connector. And Tim, I want to specifically applaud you and thank you for glass secessionism, also called 21st Century Glass, a Facebook page that has gathered thousands of people who work with glass all around the world, and I believe has come up with some of the best discussions about art in general, but the medium glass and the artists that work with it, and the value of this exchange to me has been really, really wonderful, often very inspiring, and I know I speak for many when I say thank you so much for doing that together with William Warmus and some other moderators. We all love Tim Tate. This is Peter Brammers for AACG, coming to you from the Netherlands.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Moore, Executive Director of the Center for Craft, and I met Tim early on in my professional career at VSA Arts in Washington, D.C., and I remember hearing so much about this glass artist who lived larger than life and who was bringing together a community of artists through the Washington Glass School, and I was so curious. And since then, our lives have really been a constant of encouragement and mutual support. I'm so enamored by the ability of him to push the medium and to be extremely dedicated in the studio, and one of probably the most prolific artists that I have come across in my career. You know, of all those that have accomplished good work in glass, Tim is certainly to be commended. And not only that, but Tim probably knows everybody, all the artists, curators, collectors, and enthusiasts in the field, because he has a level of skill and dedication in the field and making it a community that succeeds. And so I've greatly appreciated following him. You know, his work has a sense of humanity and shared vulnerability that I think that we're all attracted to. And I value his kindness and his friendship. As an arts administrator, we oftentimes lead very isolated lives. And Tim wants you to succeed. He is genuinely interested in you and your path and how you might rise together. And for that, I'm extremely grateful. I can always count on a call from Tim when I need it most. So thank you, Tim. Congratulations for this award. And may you have many, many, many more years in glass.
I'm J.G. Harrington, an AACG member and currently the president of the James Renwick Alliance for Craft. The AACG couldn't have chosen someone better for this award. I've known Tim for a very long time, since the Washington Glass School was in the Millennium Arts Center in DC. It's been thrilling to watch his career as an artist, and even more impressive to see how much he gives back to the glass and craft communities. I'm honored that he considers me a friend. I love how Tim's art keeps moving and changing, and the delight he takes in finding new directions. I remember seeing his first video pieces at the Smithsonian Craft Show and his enthusiasm about the possibilities. He combined glass and video in exciting ways, and then used those lessons to do even more new things. I'm always looking forward to what he'll do next. But I also love Tim's commitment to the community. All of you know about the Glass Secessionism Facebook page, which is an incredible resource for both artists and collectors. But he's also played key roles at Penland, a place he loves, in Artomatic, a fixture in the DC art scene, and the Renwick Alliance, where he's been on the board for many years and currently is our vice president. He brings the same energy and creativity to these roles that he brings to his art. And it's a blessing for all of us that he does. Congratulations, Tim.
Hi, Hal and Myra Weiss here. T is for his incredible talent.
I is for imagination galore.
M is for his magic and creativity.
T is for his wonderful teaching ability.
A is for artistic accomplishments. Amazing.
T is for the twinkle that's always in his eyes.
E is for his unending enthusiasm. Put them all together and they spell Tim Tate, a guy we both admire and adore. Tim has always been welcoming, and we've been fortunate to have the opportunity to visit him in his studio and observe firsthand his astounding creativity. He lives with us on the wall piece behind us, and we say hi to him every day.
Tim is a dear friend and tremendous contributor to my endeavors at the Smithsonian American Art Museum, especially for his work on the upcoming 50th anniversary of the Renwick Gallery. He and I make a great team.
Sending hugs and congratulations for all your accomplishments.
Mwah!
Good thing I have a short name.
Hello, my dearest Tim. Congratulations on your award. And I am so very honored that I've been asked to be one of the speakers to talk to you. You are a big presence, and you're a big presence in my life. You always make me feel so welcome when I show up at one of the events, especially when I'm on my own. You always take such great care of me. You always have a seat for me next to you. You've introduced me to so many people. We've had a lot of fun. I can be completely myself with you. We can gossip, have a great time, and laugh. So I'm grateful for all of that. You're also a tremendous artist, and I have a lot of respect for what you do. So I love you very much, my friend. Be well.
Getting to know Tim has been one of the highlights of my career. And Habitat would not be Habitat without mind-provoking work. Tim Tate would not be Tim Tate without provoking our minds, whether it be through controversy or just plain dialogue. Tim Tate has a significant role in engaging others willingly and some unwillingly to participate in the growth and understanding of the medium. And for that, we give him our support. And on behalf of Habitat Galleries, congratulations.
Tim, I hope you felt all that heartfelt love coming your way. Congratulations.
That was a whole bunch of thank everybody who participated in all this. I've only seen tiny bits, so I didn't want to see it all. I'm glad I waited to see it all at once. And thank everybody here. It was just, I probably will never have another night like this or a day like this, so I'm going to just revel in this for the entire day. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Well, we had one more tribute, but it's on YouTube, and it's from your first gallerist, I believe, Lenny Campello. So those of you who would like to see that, please look for that on YouTube. And I apologize for not getting it in the compilation. That concludes.
And please send me Adriano's statement. I'd like to read it.
I will. And I want to thank everyone for coming today. That concludes our formal program. So Larry, if you want to close us out, please take it over.
Right on time.
I just want to thank Marilee and Michael and Bill and all of the people that contributed to videos. And Tim, it's truly been an honor for us to honor you. And we wish you lots of success and good health in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Enjoy your day. And Tim, heartfelt congratulations.
Congratulations. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it so much.